Good afternoon, yeah?
Morning, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just telling you about the um the the problem I was having with everything being unplugged and trying to get everything set up. Um but yeah, I'd replaced my memory in my machine because I was originally getting some a blue screen every once in a while. And
Mhm.
so in the past, I would have dug through the event log and tried to figure things out, and probably not had too much success. But yeah, this time, good old ChatGPT just yeah. This is what I'm seeing. Oh, well, show me the event
Uh,
log. Okay, well, here, copy, paste. Oh, yeah, it looks like this process is having some trouble. That doesn't make any sense because that's it's an OS process, and it's it shouldn't be doing that. And try this, try that, and then oh yeah, looks like you've got some bad memory. So here's some instructions for how you can download a memory test and put it onto a
okay.
USB drive. So okay,
Mm,
print out those instructions, then uh, reboot, put that USB in, and error. Aha.
mm.
Yep. So yeah, I keep hearing stories about how expensive memory is, and I'm sure that those stories are true. But I was able to get this memory for the regular, what I would have expected pre uh,
Mm.
pre AI boom. So um,
It was
yeah,
perhaps old new stock.
yeah. This machine I did build it in 21, so
Okay.
yeah, it is getting kind of old. But
Mm,
I still had the PC parts picker page with all of the components.
mm,
So yeah, I was able to go back to PC Parts Picker and say I want to memory that's compatible with this motherboard, and it already has all the
mm.
information. So I said, oh, let me do a price comparison. Bloop. Yeah, and some of it was
Uh,
$300,
mm.
but yeah, this one I got for 160, and that's
Okay.
for
Mm.
16 gig DDR4. So it's like
That
that's
sounds like okay.
yeah, that's
No,
the right price.
I I don't remember when it was the last time I ran a memory test, but I do remember. I think 20 or 25 years ago or 30 years ago, it was just a small floppy disk, and
Yeah.
every single computer before you did something, you put in the disk, you let it run whole night,
Uh huh.
and
Yeah, check the hard drive,
and
check the memory.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it was, and memory problems were quite common at the time.
Yeah.
But nowadays,
Yeah. It's
even
crazy. We can fabricate such high quality,
yeah,
just
even
interchangeable
even
parts.
computer problems at all. It rarely happens. Now you
Mm-hmm.
can let Windows run for months
Mm-hmm.
and not have a crash.
Yeah.
Um, Before 24 hours was a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's getting always more powerful and always more cheap. So it's amazing.
Indeed.
But the small problems are still everywhere.
Yeah.
I was trying to set up my software factory
Mm-hmm.
as usual, a little bit last minute as usual.
Uh-huh.
Uh, my software factory is still not running, uh, far from. But I saw on your website, what was the name? The
Yeah.
engineering,
Factoryengineering.dev.
yeah, factory
Yeah.
engineering. First thing I discovered, and you should put that in the skill to write that website,
Uh-huh.
is to activate the www,
Oh. Hmm.
because that's something we had several times with the previous websites as well.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's solved in the previous websites, but if you type https colon slash slash factoryengineering.dev, then it works. If you type
Oh, okay.
www.factoryengineering,
Yeah.
then it doesn't work. And so it might just
Yeah.
set other people on the wrong.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I only tested it with the without
Mm,
the prefix. And
uh,
yeah, there are Yeah, there are two ways to register the domain name. One is an alias, the other one is CNAME.
Hmm.
And yeah, I might have just picked the wrong one.
With Jinaka, it's okay. If you type www.jinaka.com,
Okay.
it's automatically forwarded, so that's okay.
Okay, so I'll just look at how
Yes.
Janaka is configured. Then I'll
Yeah,
do the same for Factory Engineer.
and make it a skill.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
on that web. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was thinking about how that's configured is through DN Simple, and so to make it a skill, um, I would need the I would need the skill to be able to log into DN Simple and make changes for me. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Which
And so to
yeah.
give it your password.
Yeah, well, there
Yes.
are there are ways to authenticate.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of the the yeah, the question between a skill or an MCP server, and a lot of it comes down to how is it packaged, how is it deployed, how is it installed, and how does it authenticate. So I've got skills that use an API key in order to authenticate and make changes. Like for example, I've got one for Azure DevOps. So with Azure DevOps, you can set up a personal address token and give that PAT privileges. And so um, there are two Azure DevOps MCP servers. Neither one of them worked for my client because they were running Azure DevOps on premises. Um, and so uh, I researched I had the LLM research the Azure DevOps API for that particular version that they have installed, and described to me what kind of personal address token I need to create. So I said, okay, that's the one you need. You know, these are the scopes. So went and created that personal address token, put it into a file, and then added that file to gitignore. And so, yeah, that's not part of the Git repository, and it's also not one that the LLM will open. It will try to refuse to open a .gitignore file. There are ways around it, but you know, by default it'll say nope, that's a secret. And so then I had it write some Python code that used the API, and the Python code loaded the
token.
PAT, yeah, and made those API calls, and then just gradually evolved the skill. It's like, okay, now I want to search for stories in the current sprint. Oh, okay. Well, in order to do that, I need to run this kind of a query. So let me update the skill so I can do that. Write the Python code. Okay, test it out. Yeah, here's a list of stories.
Mm.
So that was a fun one. I think I'll reproduce that one without using my client's Azure DevOps and publish a video on that.
That might be useful.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I was on the site. I said, okay, there is an article, building your first skill.
Yeah.
I said,
It's a placeholder.
let's read that one. Didn't read that. I haven't read it yet.
Oh no, that one's a placeholder.
It's a 404.
Oh, okay. Well,
No.
even worse.
Yeah.
There's no place held.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
just a placeholder for the moment. So
Yeah, I worked on the front page. So you've got the list of oops. Yeah, I'm getting this over here for the benefit of the stream. Okay, so I worked on the front page. So we've got key components of your factory, and these four components, and then the example. So what I showed you before was just the example factories, but now it's got a little bit of hover, so you can see just a tiny snippet of an example of what one of these things might look like. The full thing, of course, is much bigger. But that on Zoom. So now we're all set up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it.
So yeah, we've got those hovers, so you can get a peek at what actually goes into a skill. Well, a lot more than this, but it's got a description and it's got some steps. Sometimes it's got some examples of what to do, what not to do. What goes into a workflow? Well, it looks a lot like just a command in that it's a kind of a sequence of steps. The difference being a command is a more focused thing of just do this and then do this and then do this, whereas workflow is delegate to that agent, so it's a higher level. And then your agents, those typically have a role. So you're an elite integration developer, and you're an expert in these things. And so an agent using a command and loading in some skills is a powerful thing. And then a workflow managing several agents, that's a factory.
Yeah.
So yeah, the content on the site is really under these 4 links. So that's where you should go to take a look at what skills are and how they fit into factory engineering.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the getting started thing, that's build your first skill. Yeah, 404. This is just a placeholder, and like examples, that's a placeholder, but all of that is coming soon.
Okay. Now, you were in favor of putting the skills as a project level in general, huh?
Yes. The motivation behind that is that, one, you need to be able to share skills with the rest of your team in order to empower them, and that's how skills are transferred, and everybody can perform every task. So you don't have your front-end developer, your back-end developer, your database developer. Everybody can do everything.
It's easy here.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. Just this guy. And then so that's one thing. But then the other thing is that these skills are going to express the opinions of this particular code base. So what stack have you chosen? And what nuances are true about this code base? And so if you were to take those to the user level, then those skills would be incorrectly applied in a different code base. So you may have general opinions, for example, on how to do Entity Framework, and I do. But when I'm working on my own stuff, I get to completely embody those opinions. When I'm working on a client application, sometimes I'm just diving in and joining a team that's already got some established practices, and I don't want to impose my opinions on them.
You just borrow the opinions of the team.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and every team should have different opinions. I'm not looking forward to everybody converging on one best practices for everything. Even when it comes to with Janaga, I believe that there ultimately is a best way to use Janaga, but that's still my opinion, and I do want other people to make their opinions.
I found the skills on Jinaga in that new project that you made for it.
Yeah.
With also where was it that I put it? And also the reactive view skills.
Yeah.
That were the two.
Yeah. So at the Janaga.com, or not Janaga.com, but at the at the GitHub, we got slash Janaga slash skills. Yeah, we've got, still need to write a readme, but yeah, we've got the assistant view models in Janaga.net.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be adding Janaga.js. That might be all just those 3 skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is specifically how to use Assistikant. Wait, no, actually, yeah, this one is just in general how to use Assistikant. So this is pretty much rewritten from the website. So read the website, write a skill. This one has the reactive view models resources, and yeah, there we go. So, so yeah, this knows how to use observable list from Assistikant. Yeah, watch. Or is this actually, this one doesn't say Assistikant, so yeah, this could be any bindable observable list, like the one that's in MVVM toolkit, or that's Laurent Bouillon's thing. What is the? Oh goodness, yeah, the newer one that I use in all the Maui stuff. But anyway,
because this one was the one that you used in Navis, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that Navis code you didn't check in, I think.
Oh, I didn't.
Is that possible?
Let's see.
I didn't find it.
Okay, but yeah, this does use Assistikant right here. So it says use Assistikant. Load the Assistikant view model skill. So I don't know if that link is going to be problematic, but yeah, inside of Janaga.net, it's got a link over to the Assistikant view model skill. It should be able to figure that out if you have them both installed. In fact, yeah, that would be the right relative path. They'll just be in this. But yeah, let's excuse me. Let's take a look at Navis. Yep, no public repositories. Oh, wait a minute.
It was a private one that I shared with you.
Ah, okay, yeah. Janaga / Navis. Yeah, okay, I think this is where I yeah, this is where I pushed. So yeah, that private one is the VB code. So I created this one with the
okay, this
code.
This is another. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
This is not the GitHub that I created.
No,
and gave you access to.
But yeah, so what I can do then is I can move all this content into that one. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, that's
because the other one was Navis _ v2, and there I made a branch for the test AI, where I committed the first one.
Okay. Yeah, so it's on that page, it's not showing that. So, but yeah, if I go to Navis _ v2, yeah, that's not the right one, but I should be able to find that.
I think I sent you a link by mail long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I did clone that.
Where was it?
Yeah, so it should be in here. Okay, yeah, so in this one, okay, so this is still at your username, not the Nowis organization.
No.
Okay.
No, underscore
Yeah.
2, I think.
Okay.
That was a classic. And then was there a private one? Then there was a private one, Navis underscore 2.
Okay. Let me just edit the URL here. It's underscore 2.
V2.
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 Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oop, boom, boom. Okay, I'm not seeing that one. Yeah, this is the one that I cloned.
Wait. Oh.
But it could be that I didn't accept the invitation for that one.
Wait. How was that? Settings. Normally, I sent you. How was it already to send somebody an invitation?
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
Oh. No. I'm wondering, was it on the classic that I? Yeah, it's possible. That I gave you rights on the classic, but
Okay.
anyway, I don't remember. No, the classic was also private.
Yeah.
Yeah, must be that. Okay, so and it was in the classic that you stored it.
That is the one that I've got cloned right here.
Okay, wait, because I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and I've not pushed anything to this one.
No, but it would be better to go to the version 2.
Yeah.
So how? Where is it now? Repositories 9. Navis 2. Come on. And then how do I do it again? I already forgot how to give how I give you rights to that.
Yeah, so it should be under settings. Well, I don't have that capability here, but if I were to go to, let's open up a new one. GitHub, Janaka, and then
Features, pull request, archives, issue danger zone, no.
yeah, like this one is a private one.
Collaborators.
Yeah.
Collaborators, confirm access. Login again. Manage access. Add people. If I just type Perry. No. Michael L. Perry.
Yes.
Okay, it's finding at Michael L. Perry. Now you should have an invitation.
Okay.
Pending invite.
All right. Well, let's check the mail. There it is. And right. So
Okay.
now I'm going to grab the clone.
S- Put that not under the main branch. I created an test AI branch. That was for the test I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know which.
Yeah, test AI. All right. Okay, so now I can open up VS Code right there. Okay. And we are all set. All right, so there's the...
that was the test I did last time.
Yep.
Without the skills, without anything. So now I'm trying to add the skills to that, but okay, that's there's still some work to be done there.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and copy over the skills that I've got at the very least. So we've got Claude skills. So installed the System View model. Let's see, creating skills. That's different from skill creator. Yeah, that doesn't look right. So there's my Janaga skill from. So okay, yeah. You know what? Rather than copy these in, maybe I'll copy those in. Let's just go ahead and initialize it right off the bat. So we are in Navis v2, and we go to the terminal.
These ones are in the .cloud subdirectory.
Yes, and Cursor can read from the .cloud subdirectory.
Yeah. But why you keep some in .cloud, some in .cursor?
Yeah. And that's because Cursor expects commands to be in Cursor commands. It won't look in Cloud commands.
Okay.
But there is a solution to that, symlinks. And yeah, so I did put instructions on creating symlinks on factory engineering, and in fact, I created a skill in factory engineering that helps you to create those symlinks. So we will get that installed as well. So I'm going to first of all open skill, or yeah, I want to do an npx open skills install, and then I'll start with Anthropic with an S, Anthropics skills. And then that should list all of the skills in the Anthropic GitHub repository. So I want to invert, only bring in skill creator, and so that's installed. And so that goes in Claude skills. And then I also want to use open skills to install factory engineering slash wait, no, sorry, it's Michael L. Perry slash factory engineering.
So the first one were skills from Anthropic that it adds then.
Yes, that is correct. Let's see, what is going on here? Did I mistype it? That one there. That's what I wanted. Oh, I could actually just copy this command from the factoryengineering.dev website. So Michael L. Oh, I spelled my name with just one L, one R that time. There we go. So now, yeah, that's interesting. It's pulling skills from inside of the repository and not just the top level. I have to figure out how to fix that. But what I want is the factory engineering skill and the skill optimizer. Well, there are two versions of skill optimizer. Only one of them was supposed to be published. It's probably that one. Yeah, those are the only two that I really want. And those are the only two that I want to publish. So maybe I'll find a different way of publishing them, not just from the website's the site. So it
because now it comes from the skill comes from GitHub or from
yeah.
Okay, it comes from the GitHub repository of the factory engineering website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So up here, yeah, this is the actual site. So we've got source and content. So here are the documents for the agents page and all that stuff. And this is built using a static site generator called Atlas, I believe is the first time I used it. I was like, this one works. I wanted something a little bit lighter weight than Gatsby, which is what I run everything else in. But then also at the top level, I've got skills, and these are the only two that I really wanted to publish. So what I will do is set up another repository where I can have factory engineering skills, and we will get that so it's not confusing. Like one of the skills you might have noticed was document tone. So it's like, oh, what's that? And yeah, that one shows up inside of Claude skills documentation tone. So be firm in your recommendations. So the LLM just its natural tone was very wishy-washy and accommodating, and then it would contradict itself, and I wanted its help writing the documentation, not just maintaining the code. So so I told it, no, don't contradict yourself, don't undermine your argument, be firm, and so it
be the authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it provides a better tone now, but we don't want that for what we're doing here. So quit.
So you can really change the almost the character of the AI.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, you can. Okay, so now we've got factory engineering, skill creator, skill optimizer, and so now within factory engineering, there are some mechanisms for installing symlinks. So we are in GitHub Copilot right now. So let's try this out. In fact, I don't want that. I want to set up symlinks for factory engineering. And so it has been instructed to ask me what IDEs I'm using. And so I can tell it, oh, I'm going to be using GitHub and Cursor. So assuming that it does the right thing.
Okay, so then it installs it in the right directory, and it makes the necessary symlinks to be usable with the two platforms.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, let me move things over to the... I really need to reorganize my scenes. So there's a scene that lets me switch to the other side. And now I'm having a hard time finding it. Left side, there it is. Okay. All right, now we can see this better. So yeah, it's going to run a PowerShell script, and that should have created the symlinks. So it didn't ask me what symlinks to create. Yeah, and it had some difficulty with that command. Okay, yeah, it didn't run .claude/skills. So I might have a problem in the instructions to the LLM here. So if I say set up symlinks, yeah, there's the problem. My instructions just literally say scripts. So the instructions are not written from the perspective of what it would run. It's relative to this file, which is not correct. It should be, what is it going to run? But it figured out the right thing. And so no IDE folders found. So which IDEs should I set up symlinks for? Let's go for cursor and... oh, that's right. We don't need to set up symlinks for GitHub Copilot because it... yeah, it's got a different way of doing commands altogether. So we'll just set up symlinks for cursor. And now it's going to run setup symlinks -IDE cursor. And so now we've got our cursor folder here. There should have been a commands subfolder in here. Okay, well, let's work on building our first command. Let's just try things out. So what we might want to do is do some simple maintenance on the application. So maybe maybe we will want to define a new fact. So we're just going to start there. And in fact, defining a new fact is it's going to be useful for it to know about Janaka. And so for that, I will bring in the Janaka.js skill. Yeah. So yeah, we don't have that in there yet.
Because this code, the portion that I wrote, was not using Janaka yet.
Yeah.
It was just storing all the information, I think, in a CSV file.
Yeah. So I am running a command to come on. All right. Let's try that again. Full screen so you can see. There we go. All right, so we can install Assistant View Models and Janaka.net. So yes, let's take them both. All right, we've got those in there. And so that gives us a starting point for eventually building out our opinions upon how to use Assistant and Janaka. So, yeah, now here in models, so yeah, in V2 we do have these models. I'm curious where they came from. Let's see. Well, let's do this the old-fashioned way. Let's do a git blame, and I'm going to go into OS models. And we'll just look at one of them. So, okay, so you did add the models on January 14th. Looks like it was all in one session. So, yeah, so that was save and restore state. Okay. Okay, so we've got a little bit of context to work with, and so I'm going to start off with ask mode. Yeah, gotta switch over here again, and then we will. And I just happen to start in VS Code, so I'm using GitHub Copilot, but exactly the same thing in Cursor. So explain the model. In fact, I'll even say explain the Janaga model so that it knows to load that skill.
Yeah, but there is no Jinaga model used in this one. Huh?
Yeah, it's got these files that you imported on the 14th, and these are. Oh wait, no, they're not. Okay,
No,
sorry. Okay.
This was the initial test that I did by just describing, and it was AI that generated the code. Remember?
Got it. Yep.
And so I went to several iterations, every time building on it until I finally got something that ran, but it was just an initial test. That's why I put it in a separate branch. But so now I want to start doing the same thing, but with the software factory.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is the perfect next step. So yeah.
And based on Jinaga.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got our skills. That's our foundation, and then we need to perform the first task. And so the first task is going to be to create a Jinaga fact to represent one of these ideas. So we can start with weighing instrument. I think that's probably a good place to start. So I would say, basically what I wanted to get it to do is to build a Jinaga fact for this class. However, I want to do that in such a way that it follows the Jinaga best practices. So here I'll stick with ask mode a little bit longer, and we will get it to understand how a project should be structured. So how should I structure a Jinaga environment? So hopefully that will trigger the environment pattern, so that the user is the only who created the environment, is the only one who can create facts. So hopefully this information is in the skill. Yeah, and it is guessing because role-based security is not a word that I use. Create an environment fact owned by the creator. Yeah. Okay, so I think I do need to update the skill a little bit to understand the environment pattern. And now that I think about it, I don't think that I have published that anywhere that it could have access to. It's basically in the book. So what if I were to give it a copy of the book? This is fun. This was a nice little experiment. Let's see if this works. I am looking for.
And it would load the whole book in its context.
Well, I'm going to give it access to a file, and so it should be able to search the file using its tools. So.
And it just extracts what's needed and put that in its context.
Yes, exactly. So in fact, it should already be in my projects. So I should have the project from when I wrote the book. So here's Immutable Architecture. Source. Yeah, I wrote the whole book using Markdown. There's content, chapters. And so we want to talk about, let's see, patterns, application patterns. Yeah, this is going to be the, we want to go with an enterprise domain. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. How would that, in fact, you know what? I don't want to keep what it just did here, so I'm going to go back in time and erase all that. Using at enterprise there we go, enterprise domain pattern. So once it has this in its head, then I want it to update the skill. So it should understand this pattern with respect to Janaga, and now I want to tell it update the skill to use that pattern. So let's make sure that it got the right idea. So single-use user, environment fact, environment administrator fact, security rules. That's all right. So no, it didn't get the single-use user feature in Janaga correct. So I'm going to go back again so that it ignores that guess, and then I will have it take a look at the Janaga API for the single-use user feature. And so, yeah, it should be able to identify that on Janaga client, there's a function. I can't remember the name of the function myself right now, but hopefully it'll find it. That you give it a callback, and then it creates that single-use user, and within that callback, it's acting as that user. Yeah, there we have it. So create a single-use user. So yeah, I don't want the sessions. There we go. So we've got Janaga.login, Janaga.fact environment, and then environment administrator. Yeah, that's not the right one, but at least it's getting a lot of correct information. So I'm going to let it keep that, but I'm going to send it down the right path before we create the skill. So let's just come in here and say, yeah, you know what? This might be why it wasn't able to see the API. It's not installed. So let's do a .NET. Let's see. We want to make sure we're in the right project. Yeah, the solution's here. The project is in there. So cd nowis. And then .NET add package Janaga. Okay, and then it's able to restore that package. And so now I should be able to say something like Janaga client. Okay, come on. Using Janaga. Yeah, I am in VS Code. I can understand this part not working in Cursor because Cursor can't load .NET solutions. But yeah, this I expected it to do. So here we've got our package reference to Janaga, and so I should be able to use Janaga and bring all that in. Well, let me reload the window. And then we also make sure that I've got C# support. Yeah, so Solution Explorer is right here. Yeah, so Solution Explorer is loaded. So that means I should have C# support. Yeah, if I take a look at dependencies, here is, yeah, interesting. I don't see my package dependencies, but the package is right there. .NET build. And I haven't saved app XAML CS, so okay, maybe I did save that part. All right. So maybe it needed the build to start with. But now I should be able to say Janaga client dot create, and so just that should be my first var Janaga client. Okay, so now I've got Janaga client, and then I can do Janaga client. There it is, Janaga client dot, and now the thing that I really wanted it to see was single use. So you call single use, and then you pass in a function, and you will say principal is your parameter, and then inside of this function, in fact this is an async function, inside of this function you are able to say, so that's our user principal. Actually, there's a second parameter, isn't there? No, there's not a second parameter. Yeah, so I should be able to say Janaga client.fact and new environment. So that kind of thing. Await that. And that's the single use user pattern. So what I'm going to do is I just want to see if it's able to figure that part out now that Janaga is installed. So can you see the Janaga API from the installed NuGet package? Okay, can't do that. Well, that's disappointing. I thought that it was able to do that. Okay. So now I will take this and I'm going to put that specifically into context. So you can see here with GitHub Copilot, it automatically added that to context. With Cursor, you would use Control L in order to add the selected code to context. So you create a single use user like this. Use the single use method. Now that's interesting. This was a little pill. So that's going to the symbol cache and it's loading in the symbols. Okay, use the symbol cache to understand the API. In fact, I'm going to tell it that. Use the symbol cache to understand the full Janaka.NET API. What do you mean? You just gave me a link to it.
Getting confused again.
Okay. This might work better in cursive than it's working in GitHub Copilot. But at the very least, we have a little bit more information about single-use users. So let's at least check what it's got. Yeah, no, it's still thinking that it needs to load the the key, but it doesn't. Janaka manages the key. Yeah. We don't. Oh, okay. Actually, I do see why it's doing that. So store the single-use user's public key so that we can then recreate that user and do a query. But if I add myself as administrator, then I can query for my own user and not the single-use user. So let me correct that one thing real quick, and then we'll have it update the skill. Correction. Do not store the single-use user's public key. Instead, perform the query from the logged in user, going through the environment administrator fact. Okay, and we're still in ask mode, so it's really just changing the way that it thinks about implementing the solution. Okay, so we do that. Here's our query pattern, get environment async. Nope, no first to default. The query will return all environments to which the user has access. Do not discard any results. You're absolutely right. Okay, it's starting to get to that point. Here's the corrected query. So get environments async, plural, return the environments. That's going to be an IEnumerable. Okay, that's a good start. Eventually, I'm going to want to have it understand how that's going to work within a view model. So we'll have all that stuff. But we have enough information now to update the Janaka skill with what you've learned. That's it. That is enough to grow your factory. Yeah, common mistakes. Don't store single-use user keys. Don't use first or default. Don't query from a global root, always from the user's context. Don't modify facts. Well, they're immutable. You can't. Yeah, query from the logged in user. Return all query results. Use single-use users only for environment setup. Yeah, it learned some good stuff. So if I now take a look at what it changed, then goodness, yeah, I forgot to commit all my other stuff where I've brought in some skills. But that is good. I don't want to commit these two, so I'm just going to git add.claude, git add.claud. Oh, need to be out one level. Git add.claude. Okay, there we go. And then I also want to commit that symlink. Okay. So now I should be able to stage all those. Install skills. And then I'll throw away, well, let's see, right here, I do want to install Janaga, so let's do that. Install Janaga. Boom. But that one I want to throw away, because ultimately I want it to use its skill to do all that. So we'll discard that. And now we should be able to, well, we're running a little bit long, but let's move on to the next step. This won't take too long. So start a brand new session. That skill has been saved, and so it should now be able to use that skill to...
So we start with the clean context.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. So let's, first of all, yeah, we don't even want to have anything there. So what we are going to ask it to do is to set up an environment for this application. Now, this actually, this is interesting. When we start it again, okay, yeah, so actually first we want to get all of the environments to which the user has access. And then if they don't have access to any environments, then we'll set one up. Okay, so within the application startup, set a query for the environments. Well, yeah, let's take this one at a time. We can't do that query until we actually have the environment fact. So define an environment fact using the entity environment pattern. So let's see if it's able to do that much. And so it should define the environment with the predecessor user that is the creator, and get all of that set up. Okay. Yeah. What framework or pattern library are you using? Oh yeah, I never actually told it. So I'll just say Janaga fact. That should be enough for it to load the Janaga skill. Okay, now it's able to say environment. Oh, it's an interface? What? Let's see. Why is environment and interface? Check the Janaga skill. Oh, interesting. Okay, it can't find a Janaga skill. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to cursor because I know this part will work in cursor. It might just be that I made an assumption about GitHub Copilot loading skills from the Claude folder. I thought that I read that somewhere, but that could have been incorrect.
Yeah. But so, did it manage to update the skill?
Good question. If I look, yeah, that's
strange if it...
Yeah, so we have yes, we did talk about environment. Yeah. It doesn't look like it updated the skill. Interesting. So, yeah, let me go back to that previous chat. Right, it's going to be over here. Boom. Yeah, so we taught it. Now update the Janaga skill. So let's be very specific. And okay, the skill is called Janaga-net. Maybe that was the problem. So Janaga-net skill. Let's just try that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I have updated my understanding of the Janaga.net API based on what I've learned. Nope. I want you to write it to the file. So we'll want to be skill.md. Yeah, I think that's the problem all along. It was just never actually using this skill. Good question. Okay, so yeah, that confirms that my understanding of where GitHub Copilot looks for skills is incorrect. And so I will need to set up symlinks for GitHub Copilot. Okay, so it says that it made some changes. I'm not seeing any changes. Oh, there's the problem. I'm still in ask mode.
Okay.
All right.
So many things that can go wrong.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, so it added enterprise domain. Was that the only change? That's not enough information. Okay, maybe it's... Yeah, it's not done yet, but it should really have a reference that explains the whole pattern. So far we've got that, and then we've got the enterprise domain pattern inside of this skill. Yeah, So this is why I have the skill optimizer skill. So skill optimizer knows how to apply best practices to skills. So use skill. Yeah, sometimes with some IDEs you can do / in the skill name. So skill optimizer to optimize the skill.
Without slash and without ampersand.
Yeah, if you just tell it the word, then it's then it will look it up. But yeah, in Cursor or in Claude Code / will then do an autocomplete with the skill names as well as the commands. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, Red is doing right now is counting the number of lines, and that's in the best practices. It's in the skill optimizer to keep it under 300 lines. So it says, oh, that's fine. It's 221. Well, okay. Description could be better, and the opening line uses the second person. So, okay, now it is making those changes. Good. But I really want patterns to be extracted because you don't need patterns all the time. Okay, so we're not going to accept a poorly written skill, so extract the enterprise domain pattern to a new resource. Organize the pattern resources as there will be more. So what I'm hoping it'll do is create a little section that says patterns and then give me a link to each of the pattern references. And so there should just be one in there so far. Unless it finds the mutable property pattern, which I think is already kind of sprinkled throughout. But yeah, if this starts to do better, then ultimately I might want to grab this version of the skill, put that back into Janaga skills, and we'll have a better starting point. And people will be able to get started with some patterns. So yeah, it went from third person to our so yeah, comprehensive guide to provides patterns. So it's more of an active voice, which is skill best practices. And so that's in the optimizer. I don't know why Anthropic didn't put these best practices into the create skill or skill creator skill. But yeah, I was going based on something you said in one of our talks that you wish that you could layer them on top of each other, so you could just update one. And so I was like, yeah, rather than changing a skill optimizer, let me create an additional layer. So it went from 222 to 136 because we took out. All right. So here is our domain patterns. Oh, okay. So that advanced patterns was already there. So like, oh, that's skill optimizer. Sorry, this one here. Okay, so we've got some that were already here, like concurrent edits.md. Oh, that was just right out here. Let's clean things up. Move all resources related to patterns into the patterns folder. Keep things nice and tidy. I don't think that would actually affect how it uses them, because it's really just reading this document and saying, oh, let me go ahead and pull that in. But maybe that structure would give it a little bit more. Oh, I'm sorry. It's still waiting for me to do this. Okay. Now we tell it to move them. All right, there we go. So 3 are patterns. So we do a whole bunch of move commands. Very good. And there they are inside of patterns. Excellent. Okay. So the skill's getting better. Yeah, we've changed advanced patterns to just patterns. So now they're all in there. Yeah, okay. That's the way I wanted to see that skill organized. It even added this README inside of the patterns directory, which I don't think the skill would ever see because nothing points to it. But yeah, this would be for people coming by later. Okay. So it's checking all of its work, making sure that everything's in the right place. Perfect. All right. And we still haven't used an awful lot of our context window. Yeah, we are now
30%.
Yeah.
Even not 25.
Yeah, we are now able to do 1 million tokens in the context window. So that's just crazy. Prior to that, it was around 200,000 tokens, and so, or like 250. So yeah, at this point, we would have been getting to the point where we needed to
Yeah,
start
but
a new session.
it said just now 128 tokens maximum. You see, 43K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it is using a smaller context window.
Yeah.
All right.
But that depends perhaps on the model you're using.
Yeah.
Because now we are on GitHub Copilot.
It's using auto, so it's just automatically selecting which one to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is probably. Yeah, it's probably selecting an older model for these kind of tasks because it's, let's move some files. Let's, yeah, it didn't really deeply reason about what should be in these, in these files. Okay, so that's good stuff. So we've got some renames as we move things around. Okay, so added the enterprise domain pattern. Okay. But yeah, now we definitely want to start a brand new session. And now with all those skills, we should be able to define an enterprise Jnaga fact that follows the enterprise domain pattern. So I should be able to find the skill. Yep, it's reading the skill. And then it's reading enterprise domain. Oh, there's already some stuff in models. I can see what the project does. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's going one step further and creating the domain facts. So this is going further than I wanted it to, but let's just see how it did. So we've got environment, and then the Naos environment administrator, and then we've got our Now it's weighing instrument, which is inside of an environment. Weighing instrument serial number is a mutable property of the weighing instrument, so that's good. And then we've got another mutable property, which is our min. Okay, so we can change the min value, we can change the e value, we can change the max value. It decided to make those all separate mutable properties. Not the choice that I would have made. So yeah, basically, I would iterate with it and then say, nope, let's combine all three of these mutable properties into one fact, because you tend to change them all at the same time and just call it configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in fact, let's do that. Instrument properties. Let's use the proper term here, mutable properties, into one fact called configuration. In fact, I will. Yeah, it's still working on stuff. Now this weighing instrument dot configuration, because they all change at the same time. Okay, so let's queue that one up. And then once it gets to a stopping point, then it pulls that in and starts working on that. And yeah, now that we've made a correction, the factory engineering thing to do is to update the skill with that correction.
But the next time it knows about it.
Yep. So it said 4, serial number, min, e, and max. Yeah, let's include serial number. Okay, so we've got configuration, belongs to an instrument. It's got those 4 properties, those 4 values, and then it's a mutable property. Good, 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 good. Yeah, and it's putting all this inside of Nauwis models. So the facts have been successfully combined. And now let's update the skill with what you have learned. In fact, that might be, I mean, even though that's a really small command, I might actually ship that as a factory engineering command. Just update the skill with what you've learned. I do that all the time. Sometimes I'll phrase it as update the skill with my opinions. So that's often if it's like, okay, what you did was correct, but my opinion is this. This one borders on an opinion. It's a pretty strong opinion about the mutable property pattern, but the individual property values is still correct.
But it depends on whether you want to update them as a whole or individually.
Yeah.
So is it really an opinion, or is it a usage pattern?
Yeah. Yeah, very true. And in fact, I was careful to say here, because they all change at the same time. Oh, one word. And so I gave it the reasoning. So it should be capturing that reasoning in here. Which may cause it in the future to ask, will all these change at the same time?
Yeah.
So let's actually see what the skill changes are. So right here, group related properties. Oop. Yeah. That changed together into a single mutable fact for atomicity. Hey, that's a really good way to phrase it. Okay, so I am going to do this in 2 commits. So I will first add .claude. That's going to grab the skills. So update the mutable property pattern to combine related properties. And then we will add this stuff. So, okay, it did actually go to create environment async. Give me back a created environment. Yeah, I am kind of curious how this is all integrated. So weighing instruments, we've got a get instruments async from an environment that does a Janaga query. Yeah, ultimately I'm not going to use these queries. So it is getting ahead of itself. And it's creating methods that aren't being used yet. So that's a general behavior. So here's another. Yeah, this is just going to be a long episode today. Yeah, this is another type of correction that we want to make. So in general, I don't want you to create a method that is not being used yet. So first of all, I will point straight at it. So it's brought in that particular line number, and then you created, and this is a brand new session, so it doesn't actually remember having created this, but I will let it know you created this method. It is not yet used, and there was no purpose for creating this yet. Creating methods early might lead to making poor decisions that are not motivated by any need. So, pointed at the behavior, give my opinion, give the reasoning behind my opinion, and we already got into the you're absolutely right stage. So now it's going to fix it, do the Agni thing, and so now, rather than update a skill, because I want this to be a very general behavior, I want you to write this opinion to agents.md. And so that should create a brand new agents.md file that, so yeah, I'll create it, write about the Agni principle, and how AI agents should avoid creating methods or code before they're actually needed. Okay, so created agents.md. So this is kind of long for an agents.md, but this file would be sent every single time. So for every session, this is loaded into context. So you want to keep it short. Yeah, that is a bit too long.
Just ask him to
Yeah.
summarize.
Yeah. Just long enough to evoke the desired behavior. Okay, so let's get something a little more concise. replaced 37 lines with 37 lines. Oops, I need to make it shorter. Let me be more concise. Okay, with 17 lines. There we go. 17 is less than 37. All right. Do not create methods, classes, or features before they're actually needed. And then it includes the motivation, which I really like to do because otherwise it might blindly follow that advice, and then in those cases where it needs to deviate, it doesn't. But with this motivation, now it can evaluate, is this one of those scenarios where I do need to deviate?
It can reason behind it instead
Yeah.
of just following the orders.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I like that. So that should that should get us better behavior overall. So now when I add, they're all brand new. Okay. So set up the initial Janaka model, which I was originally thinking that we would do in stages, but I was so happy with what it produced that I wanted to keep it. And so where I ultimately wanted to go is to do a thing and then create a command. Let me go ahead and sync that so you've got all that work. But this session was too big for one command. I want a command to be something nice and small, like add a fact to the model. And in fact, there are going to be more things that we want to do with the facts, like add it to the authorization rules. So yeah, I don't think that we've got authorization rules set up and that kind of thing. So so when we go through a session where we're doing something small and focused, then I'll say, all right, create a command called /define fact that does exactly what you just did, and I'll literally use those words, just like here, with what you just learned.
Yeah.
That does exactly what you just did. So now it's got all the steps, and I don't have to reiterate. I found that anytime I try to add a little bit more language to it, then it takes my language over what's in the context. Say, well, so define a command that creates a fact and adds it to the authorization rules. So all right, I created that command, but maybe in that session we also added it to distribution rules, did a few other things. So yeah, that is the practice of setting up a software factory. So yeah, every application needs its own custom software factory.
But it's not that evident to make it. If you see all the little, because the environments are different. Kilocode is different from Cursor.
Mm-hmm.
It's different from GitHub Copilot. They all have their little things, and in the end, to work with it, you really need to be used to it. I have the impression.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful because I see them experimenting in their own space, but then also converging. So agent skills is the same across the board. It's just the place that the host or the client looks for the agent skills folder is different. So Symlinks solve that problem nice and easy. There's still quite a lot of variation in agents. So Cloud Code is really just running ahead. It's got some agent features now that KiloCode is just not even trying to catch up.
Hmm.
Yeah, the latest couple of features are tasks, so that it breaks things down. You know that to-do lists. Usually it'll break things down into to-do list, and then it'll do one at a time. With tasks, it'll break a problem down, but then it will have dependencies. This task depends on that one, this one on that one. And the reason is that then it now delegates tasks to subagents automatically. And it can run subagents in parallel if their tasks don't depend upon each other.
Yeah.
And then once all the
Okay.
dependencies are done, then it says, "Oh, that one's freed up. Let me delegate that one."
Mm.
So you get this swarm of agents that are all working on their thing, and then they're reporting back to the orchestrator. But they even went one step further. Yeah. So KiloCode can't do that yet. I don't know if they're even going to try, but they even went one step further and said that now, rather than the orchestrator telling each of them what to do, you can use an agent team. And so if you explicitly ask it to create an agent team to accomplish this task, then it will spin up subagents and then give them a tool that they can use to queue up messages to other subagents so they can talk to each other.
You get a whole team or a whole family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So as they're working on a thing, it's like, hey, okay, I designed the API. Here it is, and then the front end is like, okay, thanks. I was working on the user interface, and now I've got the API. Let me go ahead and work on the surface layer. So yeah, that's really impressive to see that work.
But why do you think that, for example, KiloCode and Cursor will not implement that?
They might, but but Claude is Anthropic is moving so fast, and it could be that that they're like, no, we've had these boomerang tasks for a long time, for a year, ever since they were first implemented in Rue code, and we've perfected that model, and so they might say, okay, well that's our domain, that's the way that we're doing things. We don't need to play follow the leader. We will lead in this space. Because to be quite honest, the boomerang tasks in Rue or in KiloCode still work better than the Claude subagents, in my opinion. But and it's just something about how they've optimized the orchestrator. It's like I showed in the class. It was able to run an agent that validated. The validation came back to the orchestrator, and the orchestrator said, "Oh, wait a minute, let me change direction," and went back to the original agent and said, "Fix this." And so that kind of validation pass requires that you do some work and then you come back and you check it, and you don't move forward until it's checked. So that seems like the right pattern for that kind of a workflow. The subagents running in parallel, and even the agent team where everybody's talking to each other, that doesn't leave room for the validator to come in and say, wait a second, before you move on, before you start building on any problems, and let me check your work. And so, yeah, it could very well be that the KiloCode wants to stick with their strengths. That would make sense.
It's not the end yet of all these developments.
No.
They keep going faster and faster.
Yes, indeed.
Because if I looked at the documentation of Cursor, and also there, all the links, it's enormous. All the documentation that's available, all the videos that are available, the groups that are available.
Yeah. Yeah, Cursor's moving really fast too.
Hmm.
But they're definitely carving their space. They're taking the
Hmm.
things that Cloud Code that are doing that are that Anthropic's doing that make sense, but yeah, they're implementing agents differently, um, uh, and um, and so they've got their own opinion. So with the factory engineering site, um, skills and commands are common. They all do something like that. With the one exception that GitHub Copilot has its own prompt.md type of file, which is a little bit annoying, but that's a simple workaround. Just add some front matter and put it into another folder structure. So that one just can't be solved with just a symlink, but it can be solved with some Python script, or some Bash or PowerShell. So yeah, that's how I did that. But yeah, agents, they're all doing agents very differently, and so I don't have any way to synchronize agents. I might I might add a way to synchronize between Claude Code and Kilo Code, because those two, at least the agent definitions, are close enough in character that there might be some value there. But um, but yeah,
So the
I
best way
like to
is
see that.
to choose one environment for a project and stick to it.
Yeah, at some point, yes. I do like the team to be able to experiment as well, and so especially at the level of skills and commands, everybody should be able to participate in whatever using whatever IDE they've got.
Mm.
So far, that's all that we've done. Is really we've only done skills. We haven't even created a command yet, but yeah, I think uh, most of the time when you're inside of an IDE, you are working at that level. It's really only once you've got your commands down that and you've got your artifacts. We haven't talked about artifacts yet. So far, we were working just with the skills, and we're prompting it with exactly what we wanted. Artifacts are taking the what you want part and putting that into a file.
Okay.
And then it's /command at artifact. So do this to that. So yeah, write a user journey, break that down into user stories, write technical specifications for those user stories, and then slash implement at TechSpec. And so yeah, even the steps along the way, slash write user story. That's common common set of steps for write a user story for this particular part of the user journey. So once you get to the point where you are running artifacts through the factory, that's where you really then start to define specialized agents that that know how to work on a specific part of that factory. So it knows how to run these specific commands using these skills. And there you basically say create an agent that does what we just did. So then it's like and then once you've got a few agents and you've practiced with, let's go into that agent. So select the mode or whatever the interface is for it, and then issue the commands within that agent, and then you start to
Then
see
you can make
success.
your work.
Then you
Then you
create
can
your
make a
workflows.
workflow.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and that is the point at which you can now run them in the cloud.
Mm.
Once you've seen the workflows produce good results consistently, then you're using your IDE to create artifacts, and then you are checking those artifacts in and then issuing commands to the cloud to work on those artifacts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a complete different world. And it's best to adapt to it, because if you see how fast it goes, working like we did before is not going to be possible anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, you're going to be outcompeted, and it's it's analogous to, but not exactly like compilers and assemblers. Like working directly with the machine code. Yeah, for most problems not possible, or even at the assembly
That's a
level.
long time ago.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
assembler time.
Yeah, it's different in that assemblers and compilers are deterministic, and these things are non-deterministic. So the the set of skills that you develop in order to work with them is different. So it's not learning Fortran. It's working with this fickle thing that produces different results in different situations.
It becomes a social skill.
Yeah, it really does. As much as I hate to anthropomorphize them, a lot of the skills that you apply to teaching a person still apply to teaching a machine.
Yeah.
If you give a person ambiguous instructions and they come back with you with something that follows your instructions but isn't what you want, that was your fault. Exactly the same with factory engineering.
So that's the end of the term computer nerd.
Yeah, I wonder because a programmer is somebody who can give instructions clearly to a machine and have it execute their intent. That is still a specialized set of skills. I have seen people that are not skilled with LLMs try to get the behavior that they want, and they fail, and they say, "Oh, well, it's just AI slop." It's like, no, you didn't. You didn't give it something that was specific enough, something with enough constraints, give it enough context. So you didn't apply all these skills that make it possible for me to express my intent clearly and unambiguously to the machine. So it doesn't have to be as clear and unambiguous as lines of code, but the closer you can get to that, the better the outcome. So I think that there's still going to be a group of people that can do that well, and a group of people who can't. And so those will be the computer nerds, but they will be computer nerds in the Sigourney Weaver in Galaxy Quest sense, where her character was the only one who could talk to the computer. It just wouldn't listen to anybody else. So it's going to be like that. Yeah. Okay, I'll pull up Claude Cowork and I'll tell it to do a thing and say, "See, yeah, it did it." It's like, I did the exact same thing and I didn't get the result. Well, it's a skill.
Yeah, indeed. Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna try that also.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that also.
Yeah, 2-hour episode, but I think this is good.
Yeah, we had a double session today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I think I will edit this one down and put at least sections of it on LinkedIn, like I did with an earlier one, because there's some good stuff. But there should be some good 20-minute snippets, maybe 2 or 3 of them, that we can put up on LinkedIn.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Yeah. Enjoy the start of your software factory. Let me know what you do with it.
Good. Next week I will let you know how far I got with it.
Excellent.
And all the small and big problems I encounter. Okay. Michael, thank you very much. And see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you, Jan. I'll see you then.
Okay. Bye-bye.